Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard on a busy Football Friday, live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Coming up today on the program, Chuck Edel, professional sports bettor, having another strong season in the Friday Circa Invitational, tied for fourth place, couple points out of first. Three of his best bets for the weekend coming up at that time. Mike Somich always comes loaded. A ton of bets in the NFL. In 1 hour from right now, we'll talk college football with Brett McMurphy. I have projected series prices, Paulie, in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
My God, the differences out there from a couple of different sports books. Upset alert today in college football. Our best bets, player props, the entire Week 6 card. And that was a humdinger last night. Question out of the gates. Does that result, both sides, say more about Philadelphia or the New York Football Giants now that we're 6 weeks into the season?
Excellent question, my man. Says a little bit about both, I would say. I'd say a little, because the Giants are very good now. And they blew that Saints game with the 5 turnovers and what he looked like and how they beat the Chargers and now how they took out Philly and how well the offense played. And he doesn't have neighbors. But there are big issues going on with Philadelphia. The A.J. Brown stuff again. Well, I don't recall a meeting that we had. I don't know what you're talking about. And then they can't get on the same page offensively. Barkley, how do you go from 2,000 yards to being a non-factor every single week?
Right.
This is nuts. So there's chemistry issues. There's play calling issues. Outgained in every game. And you asked the question yesterday. Maybe they're just not that good. They're not. And now suddenly you could lose to the Vikings and you could lose when you play the Giants again in a couple weeks. But to get throttled like that, and for Dart and Scadaboo to look like that, and Robinson without neighbors, that was an incredible job. And as a listener tweeted, it was hilarious. How about more Giants on prime time, please?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
After the entire country, including us, have been bashing that idea now, but they finally got it right in the draft. We all like the draft going back to April. I will say, I totally agree with you, by the way. I think it says a lot about both teams. And when you watch the Eagles play, and we've been trying now for a couple of weeks to like go over this idea of Philadelphia being Fugazi or not. Good wins banked already, so you can't take this away from the team. However, the numbers are just not there that pop off the page to put them like super high in power ratings. And watching the game last night, you want to talk about just vanilla play calling, where it was just like, my God, how they're dumbing it down for the entire team, I guess, because there was nothing special other than that one toss underhanded near the goal line to Goddard that really caught my attention last night.
Yeah.
And without Jalen Carter, that defense takes a huge hit to what they're able to do. And I think that's one of the big reasons why Cam was able to go off last night.
Good point. Mitchell got hurt. Yep.
Yeah. Now, I think it's going to be a roller coaster in a lot of games for the Giants. One, because they play a very difficult schedule for the rest of the year. And number two, just the ups and downs of like the way that Dart plays, and for him to leave the game last night. And that's a whole other issue that we can get into. But he's probably going to get hurt again at some point. I hate to say it. I hope he doesn't. But the way that he plays and he's not willing to like slide and he wants the punishment, much like Scadaboo, like that's not going to go well for the entire year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And they were very lucky to win the Chargers game. I know it's 5 turnovers, but that happens. Like that can happen again in a game. So,
well, no, the fact that they still should have won the game. They're -4 in the turnover battle, and they have 1st and goal to go ahead. And then he fumbles, and they do a scoop and score the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just ridiculous. But there's
clearly a lot to be excited about with this team finally.
Oh, yes. Love it. Absolutely. The future's bright. But you said it, and you tweeted it as well. You think he has a concussion. He comes out of the game. He goes into the tent. Daboll's, messing with the doctor. I talked to my Giants source. There's a damper on the celebration today. They're expecting a huge fine. You can't do that to the NFL doctor. And he tells him one play, get him back. You can't do that.
Of course
he might
not.
have a concussion.
Screaming at the guy.
And then he comes back out in the game, and they run him 3 times.
I could not believe what I was watching.
He's begging to get taken out.
Brian Daboll. I've given that guy the benefit of the doubt more than most people here during this, really rocky stretch. As the head coach of the New York Giants. How do you possibly watch what's going on? You're having a heart attack, as I tweeted out last night during the game, yelling at the doctor, John Mara today, for the owner of the Giants, had to come out and basically apologize and say, no, he wasn't trying to influence a doctor, but he can't do that, right?
Yeah, that's
sure
why he's
he
screaming.
wasn't.
One play. He's screaming at him. One play. One play. Need him back in the game. Come on.
And 70,000 diehards in the stands watching that team kick Philly's ass, a rival, and an entire area of like millions of people who are big Giants fans are like, no, this can't be happening. We finally got the quarterback right, and now he's going to leave, and I don't know how long. And then, no, he's going to be okay. Great. What do? We run him back-to-back plays pretty much as soon as he gets back on the field. What are you doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You have to do it whatever you can in your power as the head coach and as the play caller there, in charge of everything with the offensive staff, to limit the idea of him getting hurt any further.
Yeah.
And they were just, that's why I think there's a chance now. Just be careful with how they're operating here and how he takes off and runs a lot. Like, ooh, boy, going to be a little shaky. But another thing I tweeted as well, during the game last night, not that he's going to win the award, but we're all watching this collectively. Cam Skattebo was still available at 28-1 for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I don't get it. It's crazy.
The same number as Dylan Gabriel? These are, as Doug Kazarian told us on the show last year, these are fake awards, and nobody really knows how to price them. He should be like second on the odds board right now. Yeah,
I don't get it. He's 16-1 at DK. He's 12-1 at William Hill, Caesars. They mentioned the big price you saw. Dart's as low as 2-1. I think it's FanDuel. I mean, I like the Star Wars and the other stuff, and I think he's going to be an excellent pro. But he had 100 yards against the Chargers. This guy has 3 touchdowns. How is he not the second shot on the board? I mean, I can't believe these. And playing in New York's going to help him. But what this guy has done so far on the season, and all the buy plus money on touchdowns anytime touchdown on Skattebo the rest of the way. But he should be the second choice. And who would bet Genty right now? He's had one good game. It's not his fault. The offensive line stinks. But who in the right mind is going to say, give me Genty at 4-1 to win the award? I could see Warren, because they're going to win games. He's going to put up numbers. But the guy who should be second or third on that list is Skattebo and not Dart. And Dart should not be 2-1.
Absolutely not. And oh, by the way, like there is a real path here, despite the difficult schedule, that Skattebo is going to be a thing for the entire year. Again, like Genty is plus 350 in that range. We're looking at odds right now from DraftKings. It should be the exact opposite. He should be 16-1. Again, all things considered, they are a terrible football team. He's got an awful offensive line. He's had one good game. So how many really good moments has Skattebo had already? A ton. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was tied with Dylan Gabriel last night when he scored his second touchdown, I'm just like, he might not win the award, but I hope people were able to get down in like 28-1 during the game or 25-1 before it was, coming down to like where it is now at 16.
Or if you listened to us in the summer and had 80 or 150. So the other thing is obviously the Giants source has been with the organization a long time. So he's tight with Barkley. And he talked to Barkley after the game, and he goes on, this has got to stop. I can't take this anymore. And the source, is just, it's like, he doesn't like what's going on. And I don't understand why they can't get on the same page with A.J. Brown and why this isn't working out. And there's a disconnect there with Hurts because he's wide open for a touchdown on the interception. And then it's just between the tweets, and we didn't have a meeting, or we had a meeting, and we can't get on the same page here and what's going on. And like Dable said, he put him on Front Street. Yeah, I'm watching the tape. This guy's wide open. Right. Well, then why aren't you throwing him the ball?
No, they're broken, man, right now. Plenty of time to fix it.
Well, it happened a couple years ago, right?
Oh, it did, yeah.
This one looked like Sirianni was going to be gone.
Sure.
They had bad chemistry issues. They started 10-1. They couldn't even win a playoff game.
There's just nothing there for Barkley.
No, I can't believe it. And You're right about, the creativity's missing other than stuff at the goal line. But between Goddard and Brown and Smith and Barkley and Hurts and all these weapons that you have, and you win the Super Bowl, and it can't look like this. And you're lucky that that's your record.
Right. There's still now, what happens if Washington wins and they're impressive on Monday night against the Bears? That number to probably win the division on the Commanders will go bye-bye. And this is something, I don't want to give too many Survivor things like away moving forward, still alive, because it's been dwindled down now quite a bit. But we'll talk about it every single day on the show and every week for sure. This is something that I've been thinking of, and I mentioned it to somebody else going back a good week and a half. I'm not so sure that the Eagles on Black Friday is the play against the Bears.
Yeah, right. That's an excellent point.
And again, that's not just from last night's. So I'm not overreacting to last night's game. That's like the last week and a half, 10 days in that neighborhood, 2 weeks, whatever.
Let me go quick. Number one, I watched the post game. I love Skattebo and Dart. that is ridiculous. A guy gets a taunting call for yelling first down, and he was penalized 15 yards.
And how about the guy who drilled him out of bounds, helmet to helmet, no call?
Yeah, and I agree with Al Michaels. How'd this become a felony, right? The other thing, I think he's the GOAT, one of the best to ever do it. The abuse of Al Michaels every single Thursday. You know, it's one thing if you're going to make mistakes, whatever it happens, he's getting old. It's the appearance that he doesn't want to be there, along with Herb Street as well. It's like you guys, 99% of the country would switch places with you. You have a great job. I don't get this negativity, and it's like this is the last place you want to be. But I would say that.
Think about how much is on Herb Street's plate.
Sure. But that's on him, then. Don't take the job.
100%. You don't have to take the job.
I know. But I think Al's just there for the money, and it shows.
The broadcast was not very good again last night.
There was he's going to make mistakes because he's old and not seeing stuff. And I know we had the problem with what happened in the 49er game, why the ball's getting spotted. Well, it was a roughie in the passer, Al. But it's right. The appearance that Al doesn't want to be there. And he doesn't care about the game or his job at this point.
They showed like the owners of the teams last night for like 45 seconds consecutively. I'm like, is there somebody hurt on the ground that they don't want to show the replay of? Like, there was no explanation why they're showing the owners. Why are they on TV? Why did they keep them on so long? Like, what's happening on the field right now? Zero explanation the entire time. Like, okay, that was a wasted minute there with nobody knowing what was going on.
A lot going on here. We got the WNBA finals. We should have a lot of hockey. No games, but anyways, Jonathan Davis tomorrow will be ready to go with the breakdown in hockey. Game 5 tonight and tomorrow. The content will blow you away. Plus the AI numbers, the prop projections are incredible. They're big on one quarterback. Check it out. Lock it in 40% off today. Code FTM, VSiN.com/subscribe. Through the Super Bowl, code FTM, VSiN.com/subscribe.
This is happening for the first time in NFL history on Sunday.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on SiriusXM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or on any of our great affiliates from coast to coast. We head out now to the Progressive Guest Line as professional sports bettor Chuck Edel makes his weekly appearance with us on Follow the Money. He is currently tied for 4th place in the Friday Night Football Invitational. He is the defending champ in that contest. Chuck, good afternoon. Good to talk to you as always. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Glad to be on.
We typically begin with college football. Your bets there, maybe a total or two, because that's what you primarily look at. And sometimes you're only going to have like 3 bets in college during this segment. But you do have one in the NFL this weekend, and it's the Sunday night marquee game of the week, I would think. The Lions on the road taking on the Chiefs. And KC is a small home favorite in this spot. Which side do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the small favorite here. Kansas City here. There was a lot of talk early on in the season about this Kansas City team and their offense. I heard people bashing Mahomes. He's washed up. I mean, a lot of crazy stuff. And, a big part of the reason why that was happening was because KC was very shorthanded. I don't care how good of a quarterback you are. If you don't have the receivers to throw the ball to, if they're running the wrong routes, inexperienced guys, it makes it a lot tougher. And I think we saw some of that last year as well. They were shorthanded, and Worthy was out. Rice was out. Now, Worthy is back. Rice is still out. I believe he's going to come back next week. But, since Worthy has been back 2 games now, they're averaging 32.5 points a game. And Worthy's 2 games back, he's had 17 receptions. And it also opens up the field for the other receivers now when he's on the field. The other thing is, since Andy Reid gave the old bumperoonie to Kelce there, he stepped it up a little bit. He's got 13 receptions his last 2 games. And so offensively, they're playing better. Even in the loss to Jacksonville, if you look at the stats in that game, KC really dominated stat-wise. They outgained them 476 yards to 319. Of course, the 14-point swing when KC was going to go score and they returned it for a touchdown was a big deal. So you get all that going. Then you look at the Lions team, and this is a Lions secondary this week, very banged up. Very possibly could be missing 4 of their secondary players. A couple of them are game time decisions. A couple of them are out for sure. Even some of the backups are banged up a little bit. So they're going to have their hands full. Obviously, KC's going to be throwing the ball and causing a lot of havoc there in the secondary. So I expect Kansas City to be, throwing the ball all over the place. The scary thing is we know Detroit's offense has been playing well. I think this is a really tough environment. When you go on the road in the conditions, Kansas City, I think, is one of the biggest home field advantages in the NFL. Very tough place to play. So, and then you throw on top of that, this is really is a must win for Kansas City. I mean, they can't afford to lose a game. This is not to take anything away from Detroit, but it's a bigger game for Kansas City here. So I think all the Euros kind of point in that direction.
Very good. We go to college now. You tend to think of yourself as a one-man wolf pack. We're going late. Nevada at home against San Diego State, catching 7.5.
Yeah, big number here, Paulie. I think this is 7.5 points in a game like this is a lot of points. First of all, I expect it to be a defensive type game. Both teams have solid defensive lines. Nevada giving up 25.5 points a game. And, if you take away the Penn State game, it's about 20 points a game. And listen, a lot of the points that Nevada has given up this year have been because of their quarterback play and turnovers. They lead the country in turnovers. Nevada has had 14 turnovers, 10 interceptions. Both of those lead the nation. Mm-hmm. The good news is true freshman Carter Jones now is going to get the start for Nevada. Last week he came into that game, I believe it was against Fresno. They were trailing the game 20-3. He comes in, goes 11 for 15, throws 2 touchdown passes, and he took over for Chubba Purdy, no relation to Brock, who was 0 for 4 and had 2 interceptions in the game. So you could see what was happening. Not only was the defense playing well, but they were getting poor field position to play on. So the team supposedly is very excited that he's in the quarterback position and should be playing better. San Diego State likes to run the ball, and Nevada's good against the run, 3.8 yards per carry versus the run. San Diego State's run the ball 211 times this year compared to 117 passes. And San Diego State does have success running the ball, but usually it's teams who can't stop the run. 2 weeks ago, they played Northern Illinois, who was pretty good against the run. The final score there was 6-3. So I'm not saying that's going to be this low scoring of a game as that, but I do expect it to be a back and forth close game. And I think in a game like this, 7.5 points is a big number.
Very good. One more body clock game, letdown game, all of it. UCLA on the road against Sparty, 9 a.m. kick, 53.5 the total.
Yeah, everything you said is right. Then throw in the over-adjusted total, from what happened last week. I mean, that's obviously what I'm looking at here. I feel like the total has been over-adjusted. Coming into that Penn State game, UCLA was averaging 14 points a game. And, it would have even been lower. I think they put up 23 against UNLV. You take that away. So they were struggling to score. Hey, listen, it was an incredible game. Give Neuheisel credit, calling the plays. But again, I think because of that 42 points they put up kind of got over-adjusted. And part of the reason that was is Penn State, bad effort, obviously, in that game. They weren't ready to play. The other part was they weren't really familiar with what UCLA was doing to them. And, no excuse on Penn State's end, but they weren't ready for that. And UCLA ran the ball a lot in that game. And now Michigan State, they have some film to watch, and they should, they're not going to let the quarterback run all over the place like Penn State did. Michigan State defense has been good versus the run. I believe the last game against Nebraska, they ran the ball 31 times, only got 67 yards. And that's what UCLA is going to want to do. They're going to want to run the ball, control the clock. Last week, they ran the ball 53 times. They only threw 24 passes. So that's Michigan State's defensive strength. They have been weak against the pass. I don't think UCLA could threaten them with the pass. And, the other little tidbit, which is interesting, which I haven't heard anybody talk about, but I did read something that, Michigan State's coach, Jonathan Smith, has actually been mentioned as the favorite for the UCLA job. I guess he grew up over there. And so he's going to come in ready to play with this Michigan State team. Defensively, I don't think they're going to let, UCLA kind of run the ball like happened last week. So I thought the number was a little high, and I do like it to go under the total.
Very good. What time are you on with Matt tonight?
I'll be on at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Awesome. Thanks, Chuck. Go get him this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
There you go. Pro bettor Chuck Edel, tied for 4th right now, defending reigning champ from last year, Friday Night Football Invitational.
If you woke up this morning with some extra money in your account, you can thank the Meat Man. That soccer play, this Liechtenstein or whatever, is an abomination.
4-0. They lost.
It was good. There was a winner there.
Yep.
And last night was awesome. The coming out party for Dart, Scadaboo, the pictures, taking the shirt off with Fitzpatrick afterwards, the 3 touchdowns. That Dodger-Philly game was fire. That was awesome. All hands on deck. Who's going to pitch in? Who cares? There's no Game 5 unless we win. Here comes Luzardo. And then the finish, what happened? Epic. Oh, my God, it was so good.
So I had the Phillies in the game, right? I had first 5, which was a push. They lost the game. I could not feel worse for that kid if I tried.
I feel bad for him. Yep.
I feel absolutely awful for him.
Yep. Look, put it up. Great job, guys. You see Real Muto pointing to first.
Yep.
You got to go to first. And he looks. Did he think there was only one out?
Yeah, I believe that's what he thought.
I mean, that's a simple throw.
Yeah. Pajas, by the way, Pajas was like jogging. He thought he was out automatically.
Right, and he jammed him and broke the bat. And he was, I think, 1 for 23 so far in the playoffs. He's been an automatic out. And they're just a gift of all gifts. Even if the throw is accurate, they have no chance to get him. And I don't know who he is. The first base coach nailed it. As soon as he threw home, he put his hands in the air and started celebrating. He goes, "There's no way they can throw him out."
Yeah.
And I think he just forgot how many outs there were, and he just turned, throw to first. You're out of it. And
he panicked when he bobbled the ball.
And I'm sorry, I don't care. Do you know who that is? You cannot walk Ohtani. He's 1 for 17 in the series.
Yeah.
You also have no margin for error then for Duran. And I know it hasn't happened before, but guess what? He walked the running. The guy's 1 for 17. Has he got the ball out of the infield?
No, I would be pitching to him right now.
You can't walk Ohtani.
It's all hindsight, but man, he is lost at the plate.
Yes.
If he gets scorching hot, fine. Then you maybe can reconsider
Absolutely.
it right now.
I don't care. Right. It's what have you done for me lately?
No,
he's striking out. He's not putting the ball in the play.
Right,
He's popping
exactly
up on
right.
the infield. You did the Dodgers a big favor there.
He's had awful at-bats throughout the series. He's a liability at the plate right now. And they still won the series in 4 games, by the way.
And I know from a prop standpoint, and also Philly fans are ticked off, that should have been a strike 3 on call. And that would have got Sanchez K-prop over, too. That got the floodgates open and got the party started as well. But walks will haunt, and I thought that was ridiculous what they did to Ohtani, but that was an awesome baseball game.
Those 2 teams might be the best 2 in all of baseball.
Yeah. Well, how about bringing in Sasaki? It's not even fair why they're going to play this.
I love it. I love that he was forced into this, and now he's realizing, oh, my God, I got to use the guy.
Good luck to whoever wins tomorrow night, because they've got their pitching set up now.
Okay. I have projected prices. You might laugh at some of these, but I will run down projected prices for the next round of the Major League Baseball playoffs, and not 1, but 2 Moose sightings in the NHL. Paulie details them both next.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better. Better picks the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better or visit better.app now. Sign up today. Get free money and no deposit necessary. Download Better now. BETR, better.app.
All right. Plenty of bets to get to kick off this hour with VSiN host Mike Somich. Podcast now with Patrick Maher called Sharp Money. Drops every single Monday and Tuesday. You can get it wherever you listen to your podcast. And Mike is on the Progressive Guest Slide. Somich, good afternoon. Thanks for the time as always, pal. Let's begin with San Francisco and Tampa Bay. Of course, the Niners have had a ton of injuries all year long, as have the Buccaneers. But officially now, no Godwin, no Evans, no Bucky Irving in this game. Mayfield's playing out of his mind. Mac Jones, awesome last Thursday night against the Rams. What is your approach here to this contest?
Yeah, 2 really banged up teams. You mentioned we're missing Godwin, we're missing Evans, we're missing Irvin, we're missing on the other side Pearsall. But you know what else both these teams are missing? Any semblance of a pass rush. Neither can get to the quarterback, and that's going to set it up well for both of these offenses to still be successful. Tampa Bay really struggled covering wide receivers out of the backfield. They've allowed the 3rd most yards. That means that McCaffrey is in line for a very big day from a receiving perspective. I understand the Kendrick Bourne thing was kind of wild, seeing him come out of nowhere, but I don't see why that is not repeatable. This isn't a secondary that's all that ferocious on the Tampa side either. We saw this Tampa team get roasted by Seattle last weekend. We saw this Bucs team, or we saw this 49ers team really give up a lot of points to the Rams that didn't necessarily end up on the board. 4 kicking points left on the field there. You had a fumble at their own 30, a fumble at the 1. The Niners got the Rams got stopped on 4th and 1 from the 10 as well. There could have been a lot more points on that Thursday night game, and we already saw the points come from that Bucs-Seattle game. Both of these defenses just don't have any teeth at this point. I think both quarterbacks have a big day. I think you could look at Ibuka props if you want. I think Tunja's props are live here. Love the McCaffrey over reception yard props as well. But to me, the easy one here is the over. I thought this should be sitting at 49.5, maybe even a flat 50. And here we are under the key number of 48. So I'll just take both these offenses to have a good day, and we'll go over that 47.5 total.
All right, let's go to London. Bo Nix has been great as a favorite, and the Jets can't stop anything, given at least 25 points in every game. Multiple players have said we don't have a win because of the defense. They also don't have a takeaway. Denver shuts down rushing quarterbacks. Doesn't bode well for Fields. Everything points to Denver, right?
It does point to Denver. We've also seen favorites do very well in this situation.
Yes.
When favorites have gone over to London, I believe it's 19-6 against the spread. This is a situation where I do think Denver is just simply the better football team. The fact that we're getting this on a neutral means it's a playable number here at the 7 that's currently available out there in the market. You broke it down wonderfully there. Look, Fields is going to have difficulty running the football. Denver has been phenomenal against rushing quarterbacks, and they've faced a fair number of rushing quarterbacks already in this season as well, yet they're still being able to hold these guys to sub 20 yards consistently. If Fields can't use his legs to be able to move the chains, that means it really relies on a passing offense that has Garrett Wilson and no real other weapons. Denver's run defense has been good enough to be able to slow Breece Hall down as well. And you flip it around to the other side. This Jets defense, they had a closed-door meeting this week. They're trying to find ways to figure out how we can get better. I just don't see the guys on the field to be able to really allow them to improve and consistently stop Denver, where I do think Denver able to consistently stop the Jets. And I wouldn't be shocked if we have a positive turnover differential because of the way this Jets defense not been able to turn the ball over and the way the Broncos defense has been able to get turnovers at timely times. You also have a pass rush for Denver, which should dominate the Jets offensive line in this spot. Everything to me just points to Denver being able to steamroll them here. And I do think you have a sneaky travel advantage on the Denver side as well. They played Philadelphia on Sunday. They flew directly to London. So they've been over there for the full week. The Jets went out on Monday. So it's not a huge difference here. But the fact that you had a very normal week here for the Broncos because they essentially traveled and then went through their regular meeting schedule on Monday through Saturday, I do think gives them an advantage in this spot as well. So I will go ahead and I will lay the 7 with the Broncos here.
All right, very good. How about a team back from London this week with no bye week, taking on a team on the road that is off a bye week? First time in NFL history this has ever happened, with the Browns back from London taking on the Steelers off their bye. It just seems like you have to be involved somehow in this game. I want to play Pittsburgh in Survivor. What do you want to do?
Man, I've been trying to convince the group that I have. I've got 2 Survivor tickets left. I've been trying to convince both groups that it's Pittsburgh this week. This is you mentioned it. It's an unknown spot. We have no idea how big the advantage is here, but I believe it is a massive one, right? You've got Pittsburgh off the bye, who's been game planning for Cleveland. You've got a Cleveland team that had to fly over. Now they're flying back. And on top of that, you've got Gabriel, who his first start as a rookie, I think it was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. But that was in a neutral field stadium on a short week of prep. Now you fly back and you have another short week of prep because of the travel that you're dealing with. And you have to go onto the road on a true road game here in the NFL and head to Pittsburgh, one of the tougher places to play, behind the second worst or third worst offensive line in the NFL against a ferocious Pittsburgh pass rush. Only concern I have here is if Cleveland's going to be able to run the ball with Judkins. But I just don't see the consistency on the offensive side to be able to put up enough points to be able to beat the Steelers here, who just have such a significant edge rest. I laid the 5.5 with Pittsburgh. 6 is right where I'd stop. I wouldn't lay 6.5 if it gets there in the market. But this is a game that was as low as 5. We've seen sharp money coming on Pittsburgh. I agree with the move. I think the Steelers are a team that you almost have to play this week if you can get that 5.5 out there in the market, and I'd still play it at 6.
All right, my man. Props. Let's eat. 2 from the same game. I'm with you on this one. McMillan, receiving yards over against the Cowboys. He's had 8 targets, at least 8 targets in every game.
Yeah, this is a prop player's dream. These 2 defenses with the Carolina defense and the Cowboy defense, we've it's been well chronicled, right? How this Cowboys team cannot stop the deep ball, how they're not able to really create any pressure up front, which allows quarterbacks to be able to launch it deep and be able to get these opportunities for receivers to have success. They've allowed multiple receivers behind them. We saw it in the Giants game where Russell Wilson goes for 450. I think Tedro McMillan is the main benefactor of that situation here. He is clearly wide receiver number 1 for Carolina. Carolina. We saw Leggett get a play or two in last week. We're expecting Coker to be back at some point in this game. But right now, Tetairoa McMillan set at just 68.5 on his receiving yards prop. That's way too low. I have him closer to 90 in my projection. So I have quite a big bet on over the 68.5 here on Tetairoa McMillan. And I want to look at the ladder with him as well. You can get over 100 yards at plus 280. You can get over 120 yards at plus 550. So I laddered him all the way up to 120 yards in this spot. I'm looking for one or two big receptions and then just the consistent work that I think he is going to get. You mentioned it. He's getting a lot of targets from Bryce Young. This is a game where both these offenses are going to be able to go up and down the field. You're going to have to score points to win. That means Carolina's going to throw it, and that means Tetairoa McMillan is going to be the main benefactor of that style of offense. On the other side of the ball here, we've got a Panthers team which is in the bottom 3 covering tight ends in the NFL. And guess what? You've got Jake Ferguson on the other side here, who has been awesome so far this year, on pace to set a receptions record for tight ends. I'm not sure how many yards he gets, but he is going to be busy right from the jump. You can get 7+ receptions on Ferguson at plus 116. So I'll take Tetairoa McMillan to get all the yards, and I'll take Ferguson to get all the receptions here. We'll take him over 7 receptions, that plus 116 price.
Very good. Mike Samich, our guest host here on VSiN on the weekends, and also podcast as well called Sharp Money with Patrick Maher, comes out every single Monday and Thursday, wherever you get your podcast. To add on top of that, the Panthers allow 78 yards per game to the position. And so far this year in week 1, Strange had 4 for 59. McBride had 78. Waller last week had 5 for 78. And the scores as well on top of it. So Travis Hunter now, again, look good, man. That athleticism really shined on Monday night with that one spectacular catch against the Chiefs. Are you buying in here? Are you attacking his overs in this game?
I am buying in here, and it's for a couple of reasons. First off, I'm not the biggest Travis Hunter guy. I think he should be playing wide receiver. I don't think he should be on the defensive side, and we've started to see this Jaguars team kind of agree with me. If you look at the last couple games, his defensive snaps have gone down. His offensive snaps have gone back up. I think that is the correct move for this Jaguars team, because you need a solid number 2, considering what's happened with Brian Thomas Jr. over there as your number 1. But really the difference for me here is the average depth of target. A lot of times in those first couple weeks, we saw Travis Hunter catching the ball right around the line of scrimmage. We didn't see them pushing the football downfield. He had an ADOT of over 10 yards in that game on Monday night. That's what they need to be doing with Travis Hunter, is attacking down the field, allowing him to use his athleticism and his skill set to be able to go up and get one-on-one balls, to be able to use his speed to get loose down the field. I think they're going to keep that same style of game plan for Travis Hunter here. He's sitting at 37.5 for his reception yards prop. Let's head to the over for that. And you can get 70+ yards at plus 400. So we'll take Travis Hunter over the 37.5 receiving yards, and we'll go plus 400 at 70+ this week.
All right, Monday night, Paulie likes the Commanders in the game. He laid the number here against the Bears, a bad rush defense. So how big of a game are we talking about for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt here, the very fine-looking running back here, the rookie running back for Washington?
Yeah, a very bad rush defense. It's funny because they've given up the 9th most yards in the NFL. They had a bye last week. This Bears team did. So if you factor in yards per game, they are second behind the Miami Dolphins. And the only reason that they are second and not first is because Miami just gave up a 200 spot to the Carolina Panthers running back over there. So I think Krosky-Merritt, who clearly is your number 1 in this backfield, the go-to guy, is going to get the majority of the workload here. His prop is sitting at 68.5. That's just way too low for me here. I love the over here at 68.5 against a run defense that gave up 130+ to Genti, who has not been able to get any holes to run through. Now you have a better rushing attack in Washington and a quarterback who isn't really interested in running the football on that many designed runs right now because of that knee injury with Jaden Daniels. So I think Krosky-Merritt gets a lot of work in this game. I think he gets a terrible run defense to face. And I do think that you're going to have Washington ahead later in the game, which sets up the game script for Krosky-Merritt to continue getting rushes as well. So let's go over his 68.5. I was dabbling at the 100-yard plus. That's 3-1 if you want to go out there and take 100 or more. I do think that's in play here, but I don't have that one in my account yet.
Very good. Mike, I'll definitely be watching the contest show tomorrow night as well, which is at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, with you, Matt Brown, Derek Stevens, and Jeff Benson updating all of the Circa contests. So thanks for the time as always. Best of luck this weekend.
You got it. Yeah, I don't think we're losing 28.3% on Philly this week, but I do think we're going to lose a little bit of a clip. Going to be interested to see what that percentage is.
Totally agree. We will keep going in the National Football League coming up next. Some projections have 2 key players flying over their props in this game. Find out the players next here on VSiN.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board here on a Football Friday. Busy hour on tap. We'll go bombs away. Weekly leader props in the National Football League. Marquee games in that sport. Our best bets in pocket. And right now we kick off the hour by going out to the Progressive Guest Line as Brett McMurphy joins the program with On3 Sports. Follow him on X at Brett_McMurphy. Brett, good to talk to you again, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good to be with you guys again. Psyched up. Hopefully got a good week of college football.
I think so. I think it's a really good schedule tomorrow. And the market has been moving on this Oklahoma-Texas game as if it's fully expecting here John Mateer to play in the game. Can we bank on that? And, is he going to be, ready to go and play a good defense for a full 3-hour contest here?
Yeah, Mitch. I mean, ever since early in the week, basically, it's pretty obvious for anyone that's followed the story. If he's physically able to play, if he's cleared to play, he will play. Now, how effective he will be, I don't think anyone will know until he gets out there. How will the surgery, how will that impact him gripping the football? Will that limit his passing ability? Will Oklahoma change the offense if he does have issues throwing the ball? Those things are all unknown. But yeah, from the time he had the surgery, this was when they targeted him to come back. So I just thought it was kind of funny how everybody was coming out with all these reports about, he's questionable and all this stuff. And that's why I broke it last night. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I broke it exclusively that I said, yes, John Mateer might or might not play Saturday in Texas. Because, come on. Everyone's putting out all these reports. Sources say this or that. Hogwash. If he can play, he will play. They're not going to say, you know what, you're healthy, and he's going to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to sit it out. Mm-hmm. So I expect him to play. The unknown, I'll find out at the same time, is how effective can he be, and will it impact the Sooners? And I think, I think Oklahoma and Texas are two of the best defenses in the country, and it's, Arch has not exactly been lighting it up. So, I really don't have a side on this game, guys. I would look at the under. But, man, knowing the history of this series, you have some wild, crazy stuff happen that usually tends for turnovers, big plays. That usually leads to the over. But, man, with the way these defenses are playing and more importantly, the way these offenses have really not struggled, but they haven't really, lit it up. I would look at the under here. But, yeah, I'll be anxious to see how Mateer looks. I hope he's healthy. I hope he's 100%. And, who would have thunk at Paulie that after 6 weeks, preseason #1 Texas could be 3-3?
You said that. I know. We talked to you before the season started. You weren't buying the Arch hype, but you didn't think it'd be this bad. I'm stunned by this.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would. I just said they wouldn't win the national championship. I just said Arch wouldn't win the Heisman because you can't live up to that scrutiny and those unfair expectations. But my gosh, 3-3. If they lose this game, Sark's headed for his history here. If he doesn't watch it, only one other coach has had a preseason #1 team that finished the year unranked, and that would be our friend Lane Kiffin when he was at USC. So Sark is treading into some waters I'm sure he doesn't want to get into. But if they're 3-3, can they finish the year in the top 25? They would obviously have to win out. And certainly play at college football playoff is out the window if they're 3-3.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you trust Missouri here with their history? Weird schedules. They don't play their first true road game till next week. They only play 4 road games. But do you trust Missouri at home against Bama?
Man, if this is a perfect spot for Missouri. They've played every game at home so far this season. They're getting Alabama. Alabama's coming off the huge game against Georgia. And then you've got the revenge game against Vanderbilt. And then next week you're playing Tennessee, which is their, annual second week in October rivalry. So this is a huge, huge situational spot for Missouri. For people that haven't seen Missouri, Ahmad Hardy, he is the best running back in college football. He is a beast, and Alabama has been gashed by the run. So I think Missouri can take advantage of that. I'm not sure how good Missouri is, Paulie, because their schedule is among the easiest 25 schedules in the country so far. They are undefeated. I would lean Missouri getting 3. I think it's 3 and a hook. But I really like the over more. Missouri's secondary is a weak spot. Ty Simpson has looked really, really good at quarterback for Alabama. That Florida State debacle seems to be, long gone in the rearview mirror. But man, this is the perfect spot for Missouri to pull off a win. This would be huge for them. But gosh, I don't know. I would lean Missouri, like I said, but I like the over here more. I just think both offenses will go up and down the field.
All right. Would you lean the dog as well in another matchup? This one out west, Autzen Stadium, Oregon, one of the highest power rated teams in the country, opened up 10.5 down to 7.5. So the market likes Indiana. Do you?
No, I like Oregon here. I really do. Oregon's got the nation's longest current home winning streak, 18 games. I know that they can still win and not cover, but the biggest thing for me is, Curt Cignetti's been incredible at Indiana, 16-2 the last 2 seasons. But both losses, they were on the road to a ranked opponent. Mm-hmm. They lost to Ohio State 38-15. They lost to Notre Dame 27-17. That was misleading. Indiana scored 2 touchdowns in the final 30 seconds. So basically in those games, they have scored basically 32 points, 21 of those coming in garbage time. They've been outgained by almost 150 yards. They're totally a different team when they step up in class. And this is stepping up in class. Oregon has scored the last 33 games. They've hit 30 points, at least 30 of the past 33 games, including every game this season. Dante Moore has been exceptional so far this year. Oregon doesn't give the ball away. They've only allowed 1 sack, only 1 turnover. This is going to be a crazy atmosphere. Game day is going to be there. I actually like Oregon in this, Mitch, and I actually like the over also. Both teams rank in the top 5 nationally in yards per play and scoring margin. But I just think again, until Indiana proves that they can step up and perform in these situations, I'm going to go against them. And the other thing, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like taking the public dog either. I don't think that's
true.
That's a good long-term strategy. And this number is, dipped, falling off a cliff from, like you said, 10-7. I like the Ducks.
America's College Football Insider, Brett McMurphy on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money, Paulie and Mitch Viesen, the Sports Betting Network. You have incredible contacts and connections. It was an all-time flex last year that you broke the news that SMU was in the playoff before they hit the air. What are you hearing on Belichick, and how do you think this will end?
I'll break it right now. Belichick will not be in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
You can go ahead and attribute that to me, please. Man, guys, I don't think I told everyone take under their win total. God, what was it? Was it really 7.5? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just, man, everything that's gone wrong has gone wrong. The thing that to say I don't like it, I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it. The thing that I don't think is kind of been put out there is everyone's talking about, this is Belichick's first year and he's got to get his guys in there and this and that. Look, every other team around the country has brought in, several dozen transfers. And, oh, by the way, these are the guys that you picked. So, apparently, I don't know, did they not do a good job evaluating talent? It was weird to see North Carolina put out that statement. It's almost like you see somebody put out a statement like that, and it's immediately like the kiss of death, where it's this is our we're backing you, we're behind you all the way, and then the next week the guy's gone. I don't necessarily think he's gone next week. Some people I know some people reported they don't think he'll coach against Cal next week. I don't know, but it's certainly it doesn't look like it's working out well for anybody. And the biggest issue is the financial terms. And I think if they can come to some kind of financial agreement, but where both sides are happy, and it usually doesn't work that way, but if it can be, I think a lot of these reports that are out there that say this will be Belichick's last year, I would tend to agree with that. Some people even think he won't even make it till the end of the season.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that's it, right? He's just going to be a media guy the rest of his life, I'm guessing?
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone would hire him in the NFL as a head coach. I certainly don't see him working as a coordinator in the NFL. Do you guys? And
No.
And I don't think anybody on the college level is going to put up the money after what just happened and the disaster that's gone on. All I know is Belichick's the first coach in college football history to get on the cover of Us Weekly, and since that happened, he's winless. So maybe forget the SI. Hey guys, forget the Sports Illustrated jinx. It's the US Weekly cover jinx. 0-2.
Brett, you're the best.
Yes.
Thanks for the time. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys.
There
Good
you
job.
go. Brett McMurphy on 3 Sports, on X at Brett_McMurphy.
VSiN Average Joe contest sponsored by Edge Boost, heating up this weekend. Starts the second quarter. 7 picks each week. NFL and college, your shot at $500. Double it if you have an Edge Boost account. Quarterly winners get airfare to Vegas and a stay here at Circa. VSiN.com/Joe.
We'll tell you which coach is 16-1 straight up in this spot over the course of his career next.